Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. In a world where action movies are constantly exploding at the box office, our heroes take on the monumental task of dissecting and analyzing all aspects of action movies to truly understand what it takes to make a great action film. Ben Bateman, Andrew Ghai, in a Popcorn Talk Network exclusive. This is Action Movie Anatomy.
Boom! Welcome to the show! Welcome to Action Movie Anatomy. It's the Moby music. You guys know that song?
Oh my
Extreme
God.
Ways
Already
are
with
back
this.
again. No?
Back again.
You should sing it.
Sing it.
No, I'm not going to sing it. It's the theme song from the Bourne movie. We're doing a Bourne movie today, another one, except this time we are doing a Bourne movie without Matt Damon. This is the Bourne Legacy. This is Matt Haggerty, our special guest.
Matt was here for our first episode.
Yeah, this is episode 28, and he is coming back.
Every 27 episodes
Back
I come
from
back.
the dead.
Every half a year.
I'm your host, Ben Bateman. This is Action Movie Anatomy on Popcorn Talk, the online movie network that discusses movies and all things movie related. And I have my trusty co-producer and co-host, Mr. Andrew Ghai, in a pink shirt today.
It's pink. What's up? Let's talk some Bourne. I'm ready.
Yeah, the show's about to be reborn.
Oh my God. Can we start over?
No?
This
That
is
wasn't a good
horrible. Yeah, let's cut.
Is the AC on? So guys, this is the Bourne Legacy. This was the one from 2012. It was the one that when I saw the trailer and I saw the poster, I was pretty sure they had just recast Matt Damon as Jeremy Renner.
Right.
Which is ultimately, I think, the biggest flaw with the whole concept is that I don't think that many people that probably saw the trailer or the poster didn't think anything other than that. Because
Right. Yeah. It seemed like when this movie was advertised, it was like, hey, we're like rebooting the series with a new person, even though the last movie came out a few years ago.
yeah,
Which was totally not the case.
no,
At all.
completely different. And it's actually, after watching it's like you realize that like it's a very cool idea and it fits the story really well.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool how it's like simultaneously going on with the end of Ultimatum,
Which is the best of Bourne movies.
yes, it is your favorite. But this movie is so underrated and
Yeah.
so forgotten. It's mind blowing to me.
I think
it's
this
going
is
to become like one of the best cable movies in like 10 years.
I think this is a better movie. Like, it's cooler and more memorable than the second Bourne movie is.
Yeah, see, that's tough because that's like I have like a soft spot for that one for some reason.
It's the one with is that the magazine fighting?
It's Carl Urban magazine fighting.
Yeah.
Chick gets shot in the head in the beginning.
Incredibly shaky cameras, you don't know what's going on.
Lots of shaky cam. Lots of shaky cam.
Yeah.
So Matt worked on this movie. That's why he's here, as well as being one of our best friends.
He's not my friend.
He you were in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, we were in Manila shooting the end sequence, the motorcycle chase, the rooftop sequence.
Cool.
We were out there. I was out there for about two and a half months.
Yeah.
And you just got back. You were just working on Neighbors 2? Is that right?
Yeah.
Super cool. So.
A little bit different genre. of
Different
film. Yeah.
vibe.
Slightly
Less
different.
action, less motorcycle stunts, more funny.
Like you were like thinking, well, Seth Rogen could have played the Jeremy Renner part, right?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
He could pull it off.
Yeah.
Jeremy
actually
Renner had wires for everything he did anyway.
Everything.
Stronger wires.
Stronger wires. So this is the trailer for the movie. This is like the teaser trailer for the movie that we are going to show, and we're going to share our moments, our fist pump moments, and all that.
I really like this
Trailer?
the trailer, yeah, but I really like this part of the movie.
Oh, the flashback.
Flashback.
Yeah, it's good.
It's super cool. You see this dude that's just like broken and beaten, and you also find out he was too stupid to even join the army. He had to like they cheated him 12 points to get in,
Right.
and he turns out to be Aaron Cross, which is super badass.
Do you think you could be a Bourne character if they gave you 12 points and a bunch of enhancements?
Are you saying I need 12 points to join the minimum requirement to get in the army? Is that what you're getting at right now? I'm Jason Bourne now.
I'm Matt Damon.
Yes, if you give me a green and blue pill, I could be Jason Bourne.
I wouldn't even need the green, just the blue. Because I'm a genius. All right.
The tip of the iceberg.
Who the hell is he?
Stacy Keach.
Treadstone without the inconsistency.
There has never been so many generic
Characters
character
and
actors
lines.
in
Yeah.
a movie ever.
Ever.
Like the whole entire establishment back in the CIA or whatever it is are all just, it's hilarious.
It's one of sort of like actually the funniest elements of the movie, I think, is like how hard they try to make it cooler. They try to out-cool all the coolness of the first 3 movies.
But they not at all.
Like Ed Norton's like, we are trying to get this thing before, like we are trying to cut it off before the infection spreads too much. And if this thing metastasizes, you're like, what are you talking about?
you a doctor?
Who talks like that? You're like, there's a problem. It's like, what?
Right, there's the guy in the back that's like, sir, I don't know what metastasize means.
Yeah, it's like... I mean, it's cool. It's all good writing, and the Gilroys are awesome. They're great writers. It's just like funny to watch it and be like, they are really trying to make this movie fun.
Well, it's just harder when you're not like the villain and the hero are not face to face. Like they never actually face off.
Yeah,
that's actually part of my
almost
thesis.
Any of these films, but yeah, like so there's no like confrontation at the end. It's like, okay, it goes back to the desk job, and then he goes off on the boat. Sorry, spoilers, but
it was funny when we watched the first Bourne movie. We did that one on here like I want to say like 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I had seen it in the few years prior, sort of on cable a couple times. I think I might have watched it once with a friend. And at those times when I rewatched it, up until this last time, I sort of felt like it had aged a little bit. Like, it was still really cool, but it wasn't as exciting of a movie as it had been. Watching it again and like really breaking it down, doing the research like we did, I'm reminded of just how iconic that movie actually was.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
And how much this, like, watching this, you're like, this is so... Like, I like this movie a lot, but it's completely derivative. Like, that first movie is, like, Chris Cooper is just awesome.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
he's very
Matt
good.
Damon is, like, just great. Like,
And Edward Norton and Stacy Keach in this movie, and I love both of them.
Yeah.
I love their dynamic in American History X because
Right.
they play against each other in that. It's horrible in this movie.
You don't like
They're
them.
not intimidating at all. There's no threatening moments. And there's never a moment where I'm like, oh no, they're a step ahead of Cross.
Right.
They're never even close.
well, they're always just on the phone in front of a computer.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
not intimidating. They don't have like a button that's going to blow something up. But,
Right.
they're just sending, they're sending their
Drones.
peons out to kill him,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to be intimidated or.
Who is that? Support staff, clear the room.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a situation.
Everybody out!
There's a situation.
gonna yell.
This man's unpredictable. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in that sense, this movie is better for our show because it's more of a cliche, which is funnier for our show.
True.
It tends to be like the movies that we have the most fun with, are the
right,
ones
but
where
it's not
like,
funny in this.
no,
It's just tired.
my favorite line when we get to it, I did laugh out loud, and it was only because it's a cliche, and when we get to it, we'll
Yeah.
Which is why I was hoping, because they're doing another one now, but I was hoping they'd actually have Damon and Renner face off, which I don't think they're going to do. Right?
they're both listed in production. I think maybe the Renner one is just announced, and obviously the Damon one is coming out next year in July.
Well, it's interesting because like Damon and the Gilroys have all said that they don't ever see a movie where the two guys are in the same world at the same time, essentially. Like there's, I mean, not the same world, in the same like.
In the same space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit.
Definitely. So we are going to share our fist pump moments and our thesis statements in just a second, but I should remind everybody that these movies that we do on the show have a criteria that we try to stick to. 4 rules, aside from being made after 1981. Rule number 1 is the hero always plays by their own rules. Rule number 2, the hero and the villain are always the smartest people, things, beings, dinosaurs, or aliens in the room. Rule number 3, the hero is always a police, military, political, or mercenary figure. When we say political, it means he could either be the man or working for the man.
Right.
So he can be an MTA operator and they're taking Pelham 123.
Every single week.
And then lastly, there's at least one explosion. And this movie hits all of them.
Yeah.
Dead
Where's
on.
the explosion? Yeah. the
Burning
cabin.
down the house.
Yeah. I guess
And
the
the
other
burning of the house.
smartest guy in the room is like
Nobody?
kind of.
No, dude,
maybe.
he's a dumbass.
Well, all the other guys that chase him. I mean, the guy Larks that chases
Yeah.
him.
Right.
It's pretty badass.
Nobody's as smart as Brian Cox or Chris Cooper was, though.
No.
No.
Well, even Pamela Landy.
Yeah, Pamela Landy. Sweet movie, the third movie. So that's the criteria for the show. And then lastly, you guys should check out iTunes. We have the show. It goes up as an audio podcast. You rate us, review us. It helps us continue to do this for free with the lights on because we can't keep them on ourselves. And we do this show out of the kindness and goodness of our hearts. So please give us a review and a rating. We have some mugs we're going to be shipping out pretty soon.
Oh, yeah, the mugs are done. Mugs
Yeah.
are done, guys.
Yeah, so those of you that won mugs, we're going to give you mugs. And then lastly, YouTube. There are other shows. I'm all over the place today.
You are.
On the Popcorn Talk Network, there's Anatomy of a Movie that's on Fridays. They cover the newest movies of the week.
My
There's-
favorite color is yellow.
Anatomy of a
and
Movie.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
And I need to be respected.
I need to be respected.
So yeah, check that stuff out, and let's get into our thesis statements for this movie. This is the part of the show where we share our big, bold idea, something that should be kind of rooted in hyperbole. It should not be loose. It shouldn't be, this is my favorite part of the movie, or the color of Edward Norton's eyes are pretty. It should
They
be
are
it should be something strong, like this is the greatest role that such and such has ever played, or this is the worst villain, whatever.
Right. I'm going to hop in and go, I'm going to this is a statement that I've made numerous times on the show, and I'm going to continue to make it, where if you want a good action movie, you got to have a good villain. If you want a great action movie, you have to have a great villain. And this movie is very forgettable. And I think it's for that exact reason that we just talked about.
There's no good villain.
There's no good villain. Even Chris Cooper and Cox and Landy are somewhat like, there's just something about him you don't like. There's just something evil about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In this movie, it's just like a bunch of white dudes doing their job.
Yeah.
And it's boring as hell.
It's like what we always talked about, how in action movies, like generic
The
military
talking heads
guys,
wearing regalia.
yeah, who have like the medals, and they're just like, I flew 17 missions in Desert Storm. This
Right.
is the strongest soldier I ever saw. Like, these guys are the same thing, except
It's the
just without
exact
medals.
same thing, but without all the pre-qualifiers, and like there's no chase. Even just the face-to-face at one point would be good.
Do you find it interesting that there's no exposition on like Cross and his like military record or like his like number of kills? Like they don't ever give you a.
I don't think you really need that.
Well, it doesn't
though.
seem like he's that type of guy.
Yeah, no, great. I mean, it's a good thing because that's super cliche,
Right.
And we would call it out as soon as we heard it,
Right.
Yeah, but his military record is almost non-existent. I mean, that's the point of the film. though,
Yeah,
is
the point of it is that
built
he's
him
a
up from
nobody.
nothing.
Right.
And he
He's
was too
like-
dumb to even get in. Right?
Too dumb, almost broken and battered. He's already completely like in that. That's what I loved about that cutback, which is that moment that you talk about in those other movies like MI3 and Man on Fire, where you
Right.
have that moment of vulnerability and just like realness. That's what I loved about that cutback.
Yeah.
Because you see this kid, he's just like, if I pass, can I stay?
Right.
He's like, you want to stay? He's like, yes, sir, please.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, it was great.
It's good. Yeah,
Very
one of the best scenes. Is that your fist bump moment? I feel like it's gonna be your. Fist
It's
bump
not.
moment.
My fist bump moment is
Something else.
different.
Yeah, I was like noticing like when you meet Scott Glenn and what's his name, Keach is like, you're the goddamn director of the Central Intelligence Agency, and it's like there's your exposition. Like, he's the head of the CIA, like as if like he didn't know that and you didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just that's the sort of exposition, and you have to have it in script sometimes. You can't just let everything be assumed, but that's. Because that's in there, you'd expect them to be like, Aaron Cross was the finest soldier ever under my command. He, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Well, with the pacing, the thing about the first movie is that the pacing of it is so good. The pacing of it's so good, but they fill in all that backstory and all that, like, you're the director of the CIA, this is Langley, there's a problem, he's escaped,
Yeah.
this is Blackbriar. Like, it's done so well, and it's on such a good pace that it's much more enjoyable than this movie.
Yeah.
And this movie, it's cut too much to where there's no substance there.
I was thinking too, it's interesting, like we like this movie a lot.
I like this movie.
And 3, which I didn't realize, Ultimatum, which is my favorite, it's like if you go to IMDb, that has the highest rating. So I guess amongst fans like of the franchise, it seems like that's the most popular movie, which I would never have guessed. I just thought it was one I liked the most. But it's cool when you see those shots at the beginning with the reporter and you see the blinds in the train station.
Right.
It's that cool moment where you're like, oh, bringing me back to a place of something I really, really like. This is interesting. And that was effective, I thought. I thought
You're
that
like
was
on
a
the
good-
in crowd.
Yeah,
you know?
completely. What do you got, Haggerty? What's your thesis?
I didn't know we were supposed to do thesis, but I don't know. I like this movie. It's
The loosest opinion of all time.
it's a pretty good movie. Moving on. No, but this movie is an example of you kind of need star power, and when you do that transition, like you said,
Yeah.
Bourne. It's like, oh, I thought this was just a continuation of the Bourne franchise.
Yeah.
Different, same person, different character, or same character, different person.
Yeah.
It's like if they tried to do Mission Impossible without Ethan
Tom
Hunt,
Cruise.
which they actually were trying to do with Renner.
With Renner.
Right, which they are going to do.
So
but they're
it-
going to be on screen together.
You just lose it. I mean, like the formula works. The movie's a little bit slower paced, but I think that's a lot because Tony Gilroy is such a different director than Greengrass was.
Yeah,
Greengrass was
absolutely.
very frenetic. A lot of his stuff is very, very handheld, very shaky camera. It gives it that frenetic pace. Gilroy, with his work before being a writer, and his last movie, Michael Collins, right? Michael Clayton.
And then he did
sorry.
Duplicity after that.
There's a little bit more methodical film. So
Yeah.
It's a different film
Completely.
But I still think it's a really awesome film. I think it's very clinical. But I also it does lose. It is forgettable in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's
There's
like a
just-
Bourne movie paced
yeah.
at the rate of a Michael Clayton.
Right.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it does feel like his writing and the way
Totally.
everything about it. And like, I'm a huge Gilroy fan. Michael Clayton's one of my favorite movies. But I would say my thesis is related to that. My thesis is that basically this movie is our most recent example that not every franchise gets to be James Bond. Like, and it's kind of the same thing. It's just like, maybe it's a plot. They say, we'll spend this money on this movie because Jeremy Renner's hot and the Bourne name will sell. And if this one's okay, it doesn't matter because we'll get Damon back for the 5th one, and then it'll be a fan favorite and make tons and tons of money because we gave you one that you didn't like as much. Which
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's an intentional strategy, but it wouldn't be the dumbest thing because you know that they're going to make a Damon one. That Damon one's going to come out. It's going to make tons and tons and tons of money. It's just that like Bourne's a brand now, and it became a brand after the 3rd one where it was like, this is successful. We can make money doing this. But how important is Matt Damon to the brand? How important was Sean Connery to the brand before they changed actors? He did 6 movies, I think.
Right, and but they went through like a whole debacle with casting new Bronze.
Everything. I mean, people, even though the Brosnan movies are bad movies for the most part, they're just bad movies.
Yeah.
He was a good James Bond.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had this conversation the other night, and
Yeah.
we were all together. We were talking about how for the time that we're in now, Daniel Craig is the most perfect Bond. Period.
Yeah, he's dead on.
In the 90s, Pierce Brosnan was the most perfect Bond you could have. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's exactly what you wanted out of the 90s.
A little campier.
Yeah, like campy, jokey, more one-liners, super suave.
Yeah.
Now it's the raw, real, gritty, everyman. There's not a lot of gizmos and gadgets. It's just like this dude.
Yeah.
Out on a mission, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if you think about those characters, Ethan Hunt, Jason Bourne, James Bond, we call them action heroes, but they're basically just superheroes. They're Captain America in that
Yeah,
sense. They're
exactly.
guys. They're guys where physically they act on a different level. They're capable physically of doing stuff that real people can't do. They're super smart. They're super resourceful. It's not the same as Riggs or McClane. Those are everyman heroes where they're basically just cops
Right.
who are just really good at throwing punches and jumping out of windows.
Getting
like
their asses kicked.
yeah, and they can get their asses kicked and bounce back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do like all the Bournes and Bonds because they are grounded in reality, and that's what I like
Yeah.
about this movie. It's you can kind of see how this takes place, how it could be real, how a guy could be this badass. There's a little bit of suspension and disbelief, especially in this one. He kind of does a few things like shoots down a drone or he scales the walls, but they explain that a little bit. But that's the thing I love about these films. They are very grounded.
Totally.
So when you're in it, you're really immersed, and you kind of lose that whole, well, I can't believe that would happen, or like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting when we get to our categorizing the movies, because there's parts of this movie that it's almost all believable. There's like nothing in it that's really like you have to suspend your disbelief.
I guess my final point would be that when I say it's not all, they can't all be James Bond. If you do consider that these people are functioning as if they're superheroes, even if it is based in the real world. I mean, Batman's based in the real world. He's not a superhero. He just uses gadgets.
Batman is real.
But my point is that Batman is a character that has existed forever. You change the actor, Batman Begins is going to make money.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, I believe if you change the actor, if it's done correctly, those movies will make money. That's a huge brand. You've seen a ton of movies. I don't know that Bourne was as strong in a franchise yet. It could succeed with a new actor, and I think this is just proof. It just happens sometimes. And maybe if there had been 5 movies and then you changed, it'd be different.
Yeah, but I don't think it failed either, because you got to look at this film, and I think it's successful. It's done really well. It's in the same stylized version as the last 2, The Supremacy and Ultimatum.
Yeah.
Whereas there are other generic films, say, for example, like The Gunman, something like that, where it's grounded in reality. It's supposed to be this ultimate badass guy, takes on everything that gets thrown at him. I had no desire to watch that movie.
None whatsoever.
But with Bourne, I don't know, for some reason it just drew me in, and I did work on the film. So
I think the character still.
I did work on it, so I had a little.
I did spend 3 months of my life working on it.
Yeah.
But this movie I think does well because of that. But there are so many other other one-off kind of movies that just don't do well. Like if The Gunman had done really well, I guarantee you we'd see advertising for Gunman.
Right, because the Bourne is like it's far surpasses that of John Wick.
Yeah, or Taken.
And Jack Reacher. These movies are all getting another title.
Yeah,
they're getting a sequel. So I don't know. We're talking about this a lot, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, it's a major
with
theme with this movie. I mean, that's the biggest. When you say which Bourne movie, it's the Jeremy Renner one. Like that's
the Jeremy Renner one.
That's the thing. It's not like it's the 4th one. It's like it specifically stands out. So, but anyway, let's talk about our fist bump moment, because this movie, while it does have some generic qualities,
there's so many
super
sweet
badass
movies in this movie or moments.
Well, because you imagine, what if this movie had been made with Matt Damon, but like all the same stunts, all the same cool stuff?
Right.
We would just be like, this is another great Bourne movie. It's just because all the cool shit that happens is really, really, really cool.
Right.
I mean, like, we'll show the scene later, like when he shoots the drone down, or like there's like the fight in the house. Like there's just like a lot of really good.
There's a lot of good stuff.
I think I'll jump in.
I want to go last because I have 2, and I always have 2.
We
I
can
have
do 2.
2
All right,
also.
cool.
I have 2 also.
I've got 7. I'm going last.
I would say my favorite fist pump moment in the movie is when he wrestles the wolf.
God damn it! God damn it! This is my first one.
The other one's the headshot. Yeah, well, I chose one, so you
What's
can have
the
the other.
headshot?
I don't know. You tell me.
Wait, what's headshot?
You want me to use the headshot using the wolf? Because I like that one too.
Well, you've already done both.
You
of
can
them.
talk about the
You can talk about how cool the
All
wolf
right, Ben,
attack
you go
is.
headshot.
it's the headshot. So it's like he's outside the house when Rachel Weisz is.
Oh my god,
That's the one.
both of them. How did you hate this show?
How did you not know it was a headshot? How did you just ask me what headshot if it was your fist
like,
bump?
you talking about when he climbs up? It
Yeah.
doesn't look like he shoots her in the head.
I'll go with the wolf.
Looks like he shoots her in the chest.
Okay, I'll go with the wolf.
Well, great.
He's in the he's in the woods.
shot.
He's in the woods, and the wolf has been chasing him, and he's dug the tracker out of his hip, and he's bleeding on the ground. And he's like, "Come on, come on!"
Yeah.
And then the wolf jumps at him, and he starts wrestling the wolf to the
Well,
ground.
he catches him first.
Yeah, he gets him. He gets his leg in the trip noose,
Yeah.
and then he feeds the tracker. And he's like, "You should have
So
just
good.
left me alone." And
Yeah.
starts running and like outrunning a wolf in just like open air in the snow.
Well,
which
they're
is-
going different directions.
him and the wolf.
Yeah, it's easy to
'Cause
outrun
the-
a wolf when they go in.
Yeah, because the wolf can hear the drone.
Oh, I thought the wolf was chasing
When he
him.
scared him
No, no.
off, he scared him off with the guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the drone shoots the wolf. Very cool scene.
Yep, it's
Total.
Total fist pump
tear
moment.
moment.
I'd use it myself, actually.
What's yours, Andrew? Is there something you wanted to talk about?
No, Matt, go ahead, please. I'm gonna come up with another one.
Well, actually, I kind of had two as well, but I liked. I'm gonna go to a lot of stuff that we shot, but there was a cool sequence when Marta is being chased through the Philippines, through the alleys, and there's that parallel chase sequence where Renner is on top. And
Yeah.
he's running on the
yeah.
rooftops, trying to find her. Meanwhile, he doesn't know that Larks is behind him, chasing him, and it all culminates with at this moment. I think we called it like the chasm, where like she's in that tiny alleyway,
Yeah.
and Renner just like slams down on top
so
of that
sweet.
guy.
Just
like-
And it's just really one thing I liked about that was Bourne had a lot of these. The previous Bournes had a lot of these really iconic stunt moments, like
Yeah.
when he jumps through. I think it was an Ultimatum where he jumps from one window to the next across the alley. To
Yeah.
the
Oh,
next
yeah,
window.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
You know,
With
this
the cam
series,
following him
Yeah,
through- yeah.
this series had a lot of that, and I feel like the chasm, the drop was a similar kind of cool camera work. Very,
Yeah.
hasn't been done before.
yeah.
One of my favorite parts about that is that fucking stunt guy got fucked up.
Oh, dude,
I remember that.
He's just like crunched.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
like smashed like a bug.
Well, and like some stunts, like it's really well choreographed, and you can take the punch, and then you can fake it. Sometimes the guy's just got to get destroyed.
Sometimes I
And-
just got to get his ass kicked.
And I
to
remember
make it
seeing
look
him
like it.
afterwards, and he's got his
He
shit.
was like struggling to walk.
Oh, he did not look. He looked like he'd taken a couple knees to the face.
Oh.
So and it
Brutal.
looked real because it was real.
Was real.
And it was pretty awesome.
But Renner wasn't jumping. It was a stunt guy.
I can't remember.
I know that Renner started the jump. Like when I was
Right.
watching behind the scenes stuff, I don't know how it ended.
Yeah, and Jeremy did a lot of his own stunts in this.
Yeah, I was actually, and we'll talk about it more, and you'll definitely be able to help us out when we talk about the bike chase through Manila.
Yeah.
That's super sweet.
Yeah.
And it's cool that it's both of them on the bike.
Yeah.
For real.
I know that like Renner at the beginning of his action career was less interested in doing his own stunts. I know that he became more willing after working on Mission Impossible 4.
Everyone became more willing after
Yeah,
working on MI4.
because like just in the face of Cruise jumping off
Yeah.
buildings, and then I had heard that on the Avengers films he was much more willing to work on his own stuff as well. So
I like Renner a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a fan.
Cool guy. Okay, so fine. Let me think of my two moments. This is horrible.
you
All
wanna
right,
go
so
again?
one of them, I loved when he kicks the table into that guy's head and kills him.
Yeah.
Immediately. It's just so
Paula?
brutal. Yeah. Yeah, she's like, no. She's like the worst overdramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the one since you took both of mine.
Go ahead and use it.
So my fist pump moment is when he's out in the woods. And in the wolf, he's just sitting there and he's baited the wolf with the blood.
Oh, it's exciting!
It's so
it's
cool.
so
And
exciting!
He trips him up. Yeah. All right. Whatever. God, I hate this show. All right, let's move on.
Just you're not going to talk about it?
No, what's there to talk about?
I
You already
didn't
talked about it.
Elaborate. Can I elaborate on it then? Because it's my other favorite moment.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, it's the scene where Renner's inside the house after the table
that
hits the
one.
guy's head, and he's like, I gotta be able to save Rachel Weisz. So he goes outside and he like pulls the Assassin's Creed move.
Yeah.
He's just like, it's like effortless. He like scales the side of a building. He's like, I'm on a building now. Which like, can you imagine trying to just do that? Like,
No.
I'll just look
Yeah.
at this building. And then
Impossible.
Yeah, then he essentially gets to the top of the house. He's like timing it. And he gets through the window and he just swings around, just pop, one shot. I thought it was a headshot.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I don't think it is, but the other part is sweet. Is he doesn't really tell her what or you don't know as the audience what's going on, but he gives her the watch and he gives her the gun, and he's like, I need you to do exactly what I say. And then he goes and hides in the closet, and you see her like staring at the watch, counting, and then she just starts shooting.
Yeah.
And then you hear the dude run up the stairs and turn around, and then Renner's just standing there behind the door. He
Yeah.
puts the 4 like perfect shots through the door
And his eyes are
kills the
closed.
guy.
His eyes are closed, right?
I think he's sitting there waiting for the gun.
Yeah, he's like sitting there counting, listening.
footsteps.
Yeah, he's trying to hear where the dude is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Oh yeah, and then the other one I liked is when he's like hits the fire extinguisher with the rod that's got the nail.
Yeah.
He's like, boop. It's like, choom. It's like,
Your sounds today and facial expressions are just on point.
yeah, I'm really on top of it. I'm coming into my own right now, guys. I'm really getting it together.
Look, it only took us 27 episodes, but Ben's finally figured out who he is.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Sir, put your hands down.
So let's talk about where these guys were in their careers. Very interesting difference here, Renner and Weisz. So we're going to start with Renner, and his movies, like directly before this, are pretty massive. I mean, The Avengers, he's Hawkeye in 2012. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol in 2011. Being groomed to be the next Ethan Hunt, and The Town in 2010. And this is after being in the Best Picture film, I believe, in 2008, was it? Or 2009 in The Hurt Locker.
Sounds about right.
So, I mean, the guy was killing it.
Oh, dude, yeah. He still is.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I feel like this stretch is insane. Like, that's actually nuts. I don't think he's quite as, like, legit of, like, the A-list that he was at this moment.
I think he is, but I think what has happened to him is what happens to everyone.
Yeah.
And that's that you need to just chill out for a minute before we get sick of you.
Yeah, totally.
Because, like, you look at the Sam Worthingtons of the world.
Yeah.
And they just, I mean, not only is, exactly. Not only is he not a very good actor,
Yeah.
and Jeremy Renner is, but it was also like, I'm in this movie, and this movie, and this movie, and this movie. And you're just like, I don't want to see you do anything.
Can you guys imagine, like, just for a second, being Sam Worthington in 2008? Like, just the sheer magnitude of that year
Like
in your life.
Terminator, the Gods and...
Clash, Terminator,
Clash of Titans.
Avatar, and Clash of Titans or whatever, or Wrath of the Titans, or
Clash was the first one.
yeah, like you're essentially a nobody, somebody I had never heard of.
Yeah.
And you're starring in those
You're the
three
lead
movies.
character in those three movies.
Like and then what did he do after?
No one. Who cares?
Yeah, doesn't matter. He
Yeah.
made his money.
He did.
They were
He
like,
did-
we'll
he
give
did
you
Man on
$100 a movie. You can be in all three of them.
I'll do it. I'll do it. And then Rachel Weisz's career is just like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard a lot of things about her on set and that she's not a very fun person to work with. I don't
Right.
know how that was with you or
she's
not.
very pleasant.
She's pleasant?
She's
Okay,
great.
see, I've heard a lot of really negative things about her
Yeah.
on set. And I just wonder if that has anything to do with what's happened with her career.
Yeah.
Because she's a good actress. And I like her.
Yeah.
I liked her in The Mummy. That was like one of the first things I saw her do where I was like, okay, I know who she is. I love The Fountain.
Yeah,
You
big
know,
fan of
it's
The
a
Fountain.
Phenomenal movie.
Well, the stretch in her career that happened after The Mummy, so The Mummy, the sequel, and then like those 4 or 5 years there, she's in some pretty high profile stuff because there's like you have The Fountain in there, you have The Constant Gardener, which was like a very, very high impact drama. A lot of people saw that movie. You have, I want to say, at least one other that comes to mind that's like pretty major. And then it's sort of a dry spell because Dreamhouse in 2011, The Deep Blue Sea in 2011, and 360 in 2011.
I don't know any of those movies.
I had never seen or heard of two of them.
Which one did you heard of?
I feel like I had heard of The
Dreamhouse?
Deep Blue Sea. For
Well,
some
no,
reason.
you're thinking of Deep Blue Sea, probably the shark movie.
I wouldn't confuse those two.
I
I
don't know,
don't
man. I
think.
I mean, there's the same name.
I think I remember seeing a trailer. Like, I don't know much about it. I just think I
Right.
remember hearing about it or something.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And, I mean, when you consider, like, they're just at different places in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Renner's hitting his initial stride right now. So 5 or 6 years from now, if his career calms down and he's taking, like, more high art dramas or whatever,
Right.
he could be in the same position.
Yeah, I mean, she's at the type of place where she could all of a sudden get an Oscar nod for something.
Exactly. Yeah, completely. And she's obviously proven that she's a very good actress. And she's...
Can we just talk about how attractive she is when she goes like incognito?
Yeah.
With her glasses and her
He just
bangs.
like goes with glasses.
Yeah, it's like she literally does nothing other than just puts on glasses and puts her hair, like gives herself bangs.
She like looks like...
Works.
She looks like...
she's all fat. And she just puts glasses on. touching her back.
and she's back to. Yeah.
She looks like the girl that like you like sat across from in like
Chemistry,
freshman year of high
yeah.
school social studies, and you're like, you're like, man, she's so.
That's Rebecca Thompson.
Yeah, right, exactly.
She looked at me.
Yeah, she's still dressing the same way she did in freshman year of college.
Yeah.
yeah.
I still love you.
I still love you. All right, let's move on.
It's a good song. You're
That's
starting
really
there.
good.
The
Streamways
Gilroys.
are back again. What?
What?
So the Gilroys. Their dad, Frank D. Gilroy, was a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright, director, and screenwriter. And then Tony and Dan Gilroy are complete badasses. So Tony Gilroy, who is the guy we mentioned, who is the Michael Clayton guy,
Yeah.
Duplicity, he directed this. He had been a writer on, I think, several of the previous Bourne films.
It was all of them.
Did he
I believe
write
it was
all of them?
I believe he. I know he wasn't the sole writer, but I believe he worked on all three.
I thought he'd worked on the first and third, but maybe worked on so maybe he did work on all three. So he's a very talented writer. He's very capable of like tightly scripted sort of espionage thriller. Like I said it once, I'll say it again. Like if anybody here has not seen Michael Clayton, just in terms of like a tightly scripted movie,
I'll
just-
get around to it.
that movie is phenomenal. Like one of the best written movies I've ever seen in my life. And it makes sense that he would be a good writer for the Bourne series. It also makes sense that directing this movie, it wouldn't feel as much like the previous ones, because his style is it's dramatic scenes, a lot of weight to them, but action is probably not his thing as much.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that the reviews that we pulled are kind of perfect for this movie, because it's kind of all the right complaints without being just a dick for no reason, which we get with a lot of our top critics.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I was just gonna say Tony Gilroy, like his early credits that he gets credited for: Devil's Advocate in '97, Armageddon in '98. So he's doing what is asked of him in terms of like Hollywood script writing. Because I don't think anybody's gonna tell you that Devil's Advocate and Armageddon are great films in terms of how they're written, or even they're not memorable. And I mean, they're memorable. They're just not memorable in the same way these ones are. They're not like high class art films.
I love them.
Don't you love Devil's Advocate?
I have like this weird.
Yeah, you love that.
It's because it came out when I was a kid, and I was like, God, this movie's fucked up.
Yeah,
that
it's
movie.
gnarly.
I can't stand that movie.
Cool.
It's
Well, just because the whole thing, it's like at the end, it's like, oh, it's just a dream.
Yeah, I know.
So
I
just-
hate that. It's
90
the
minutes
worst.
of
What?
nothing.
I don't even remember
Spoiler
the end of
alert.
it. Yeah.
Never seen it.
You don't need to.
You just missed it. It only came out 15 years ago.
God. Could you just say spoiler alert next time or something?
Seriously, man. You come on
You're
our
supposed to say
show.
that before or
you
after
ruined
the
Devil's
spoiler.
Advocate.
So that his brother Dan Gilroy, also like writer as well, had worked on quite a bit of stuff.
Killing it right now.
Yeah, Nightcrawler was his directorial debut.
Yeah.
Really good
what a
movie.
great
Awesome
debut.
movie. Yeah, what a good movie, right?
Yeah.
Wrote and directed it. Now they've both got a couple projects in the pipeline. So these guys are, in my opinion, like really, really hitting it right now. Like I think these are like the guys to sort of like have your eye. I think a lot of people do, but
It's weird. I think that God, it's so tough. I feel like Tony should not ever direct another action movie, like action movie.
Right.
But I feel like if you had these two guys as a writing team on your movie,
Yeah.
or like producers, like writers and producers,
You're set.
with a set like a good director,
Yeah.
like Trevor,
like
Colin Trevor, they would kill it. Like whatever movie they could put together would be
Yeah.
amazing.
I totally agree.
I mean, the guy that wrote Michael Clayton and the guy that wrote Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
working on the same movie together.
Yeah.
Like, that's essentially what this is, but it just needs to not be directed by Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, totally. So they're like the interesting thing about how this movie got made to me, the producing stuff I thought was pretty cool. And if you interacted with any of these producers and you have any like anecdote to share, feel free. But basically, you have Frank Marshall, who's just a heavy hitter. Guy's
Yeah.
a monster. I mean,
I think he makes a cameo in the film, actually.
Does he?
I watched it when I was watching it the other day. I could have sworn I saw him when Rachel was checking in through customs at Manila. And I think he's like right behind her.
interesting.
It's a quick pan. but
Yeah.
He's, I mean, the guy. I'll just give you some of the credits here. He's worked on the Indiana Jones franchise, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, the entire Bourne franchise.
Seen him.
Yeah, like that's pretty monster. He's
Nice.
like one of the 30 most powerful producers in the world. So
Yeah, he's a big one.
yes, he's a big
Definitely
deal.
knows what to pick, and he knows how to make things work.
Yeah, you also have the other producers that are on 2 pages. from
Crowley,
here.
we've talked about
Interesting.
before.
Yeah, because Crowley had worked on the previous films, as well as the fact that he had worked on Legends of the Fall, Sleepless in Seattle,
Oh, right.
The Other Guys,
Ben's
Ah?
favorite movie.
2010 buddy cop comedy. Anybody?
Look how you're looking around like there's more people in here to agree
This is
with
my
you.
fist pump moment right now. Just getting say the other guys. Love the other guys. Jurassic World. So he works on a lot of the same stuff that Marshall works on. They're like clearly a good team because they have several credits announced on IMDb that they are both credited on. There's another Bourne film they're both working on. There's a sequel to Jurassic World they're working on. And then you have Ben Smith and Jeremy Renner. So there's always like 10 or 11 producers credited on these things.
Yeah.
There's usually 4 or 5 that are like the relevant ones that put the thing together. And then there's some regional producers that say like work in the other markets where they're shooting, some money people, et cetera, et cetera. Ben Smith, this was his first feature film producing credit. So he was a former agent who represented the Ludlum estate, Robert Ludlum, who wrote the original book, and he was a producer at Captivate Entertainment. So he helped this movie get made, along with Jeremy Renner, who had served as managing partner of the national accounting firm Markham LLP for about 20 years before the series came out. So Ludlum left his estate to Renner when he died. And they were filming the first movie in 2001 when this happened. So Weiner has been on as a producer on all the films, but once Matt Damon wasn't going to come back and they had to change the team, Ben Smith and Jeremy Renner got together with Patrick Crowley and Frank Marshall, and that's how this movie came together. So I thought that was pretty cool. Can you imagine that? Frank, like this writer who had been like
Right.
because they originally made Bourne Identity as a TV movie in the late '80s, right? So that was
I didn't know that.
Did not go well.
yeah, it was like a 2-part miniseries. It's you can watch it on
Who's
YouTube.
in it? Yeah.
It's when we did the Bourne movie, I can't remember who the actor was. It's somebody whose name you'd recognize.
It's not Glenn, right? I'm thinking of a different
That's
one.
Man on Fire.
That's Man on Fire.
Yeah,
Right.
You'd probably recognize the guy's name, but you'd be like, oh, interesting. So we watched a bit of it when we did the last movie. It's fine, but so the original Bourne Identity is a novel that is like referenced all the time in like spy literature as like one of the best ever written. It's like very, very iconic. They changed a lot for the adaptation with Matt Damon.
Right.
But can you just imagine that? Like you're a guy that's working on, you're like a state agent essentially. The guy that wrote the book dies, and you find out that like in his will and trust that you're the guy that gets to manage the estate. So now like you're just like, okay,
Cool. I own Bourne.
yeah, I can just make decisions on what to do with the property. Let's make some more movies.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing to have somebody there that's in the loop as far as like managing the estate, because they know, hopefully, I'm not sure if this is actually what happened, but they actually have a say in making sure the franchise is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And they're not just taking it off the rails and just doing something stupid.
I mean, one thing that can definitely be said about this franchise is like they've never missed.
No, it's definitely again, this is not a bad movie.
Not at all.
None of them are bad. It's just this one is forgettable for some reason, and I can't put my finger on exactly why it is. And I think it's a combination of all the things we've talked about: the villain, the pacing of the movie, the direction of Gilroy, and the recasting of Renner.
Yeah.
But it's still a good movie. It's still a good movie, man.
Do you know where in production, like the chronology of it, what you shot was like, do you know if that was like the last stuff shot, the first stuff shot?
We were at the very end. We were the last thing.
So
when we wrapped, the movie was done.
So you're second unit. So you go out there and you're setting everything up before Renner and Rachel show up, right?
It's different for different movies. This one, I think they shot it rather sequentially because the movie is almost sequentially in the different regions between the scenes that take place in Alaska,
Right.
and then then in the States, and then I think they shot in New York, and then it culminates in Manila.
Right.
So we shot that last, and actually the first unit was there shooting while we were there prepping, and then when main unit kind of finished, and then we kind of took over, and then we finished the movie.
Gotcha.
Because we had to utilize a lot of the actors.
Right.
So when you're setting all that stuff up for all the scenes, how closely are you working with Jeremy and working with Rachel and saying like, okay, this is your schedule for next week. This is what we have to prep you for. Like, are you good with this? Like,
oh, I mean, you're hand in hand.
Yeah.
Depending on who's doing that, but with the producers and our
Yeah.
team, yeah. I mean, we're hand in hand, and it's a big picture that's already been kind of laid out. And once we get there, there's just kind of small minor corrections.
Yeah.
Weather can impact. We can't go shoot this one day, or this isn't ready, so we have to flip flop the schedules. So we're working hand in hand with them, especially with Renner, because he was basically in everything.
Did you get a good feeling about him as an action star? Like, this guy can handle it. He's like, he fits the bill.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, he basically did anything that we asked him to. He did a lot of that motorcycle stuff himself.
Yeah.
With Rachel on the back or with the stunt girl on the back. Which, if you ask a lot of stunt guys, they say motorcycle work, it can be some of the most dangerous, some of the toughest stuff. Because
Yeah.
little things that are just out of your control can go wrong.
Yeah.
And if you watch that movie, I mean, it's a huge motorcycle sequence.
Yeah.
Probably
And
one
it's
of the
intense.
Probably one of the bigger, better motorcycle sequences out there.
How long did it
Yeah.
take you to shoot it?
Between the rooftop sequence and the motorcycle sequence, I think it was like 24 days.
Interesting.
Just stunts, just that whole motorcycle, just
Yeah.
when he wakes up from being viraled off.
Yeah.
That whole sequence took about 22 days or something like that.
Yeah, when I was watching behind the scenes stuff, like the town and the city of Manila was just like put on hold, like in one of the biggest intersections in town. Everyone was just all blocked off, and people screaming and honking.
There were definitely some disgruntled locals there.
Yeah.
I mean, you shut down a major parkway for 3 days, and we're running up, hundreds of cars for, a week.
Right.
So traffic there is bad enough.
Right.
You take away one of the major routes, it's causes a little bit of uproar. So,
Can imagine.
but we worked really well with the community.
I heard the people were amazing.
Manila's great.
Yeah,
Filipino
like,
people.
they were
are
happy
amazing.
and excited.
Yeah,
And
great people, and I would love to go back sometime, make a movie there, or even just go visit.
Did you like the whole crew? Like, if they made another Renner Bourne movie and they want to bring you back on, would you go back and work on
Yeah, I
it?
can't wait for
Yeah?
the phone call. Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, good people, like from the producer, director.
Cool.
Renner's great. Actors, cast, everybody.
But that's the thing about Renner is when you watch this movie, he's clearly an action star.
Yeah, he's likable.
Like, you watch him, he's likable and he's incredibly comfortable. In the same way that Jason Bourne was in the first one, with Matt Damon, like, when he's just going around doing the things that he's doing,
Yeah.
it just seems right. It
Totally.
doesn't seem forced. It doesn't seem like an actor playing this. It seems like just this guy.
Yeah.
He is this guy.
He got pretty
really
jacked
love
for
that.
it, too.
He's jacked. He's
Yeah,
a big guy.
right?
I mean, he can't. I mean, he's Hawkeye, the Town, like
Yeah.
Hurt Locker. Like the dude's been needing to be in shape for a long time.
They give him the one shot early on when he's injecting himself here, and he's doing the curl. You can tell that like some nutritionist was like, "We're gonna need to put about 20 pounds on you," because his bicep was just massive.
Right.
Yeah, I was impressed.
I bet you were.
Man crush.
Look, I think
Do you guys remember that? I think last week you talked about Harrison Ford shirtless
Bicep?
scene. Yeah, he did. I think
he was 90s jacked.
it was cool. It was no big deal. So this is kind of where it gets interesting: is the critical and the money.
Yeah.
and interesting in a bad way.
Do you want to lead this?
No. So this came out in 2012, and it was released by Universal, and it cost $125 million to make.
It's quite a lot of money when you consider what this movie is. Feels like it should have cost like 75.
It's so tough because doing this show, you get such a
Bias?
real look and a bias on what people can do with money,
Yeah.
and I continue to go back to Looper.
Right.
It was a $40 million movie.
Yeah, it's
that
crazy.
looked like a $200 million movie.
Yeah.
You know. But this movie, it's kind of, I mean, it's what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, this motorcycle chase through a city, having to cut off the biggest intersection in the city for 3 days. You've got You've got hundreds of locals. You've got, like, what do they have, like 90 plus 100 cars that were just all moving on set.
I think my biggest day I probably had 150, like around 150 cars.
150 cars. So you got to imagine the staffing behind this and all that. So it makes sense to why.
Plus
Because it's
shooting
just-
in New York, right? Shooting
Yeah.
it's always expensive.
Always expensive. It's just done on such a grander scale than Looper.
But I still feel like it surprises me because I'm like, okay, you jettison the most expensive part of the movie, which is the A-list action star, and replace him with essentially somebody at the time you're making this who's B-list, hoping to be A-list.
I mean, you still got to pay Renner like at a
Can't
top
be.
dollar.
But it can't be the same. Like Damon to do it at do a Bourne movie is going to be in 25 million.
Okay, so not Damon because that's
Right.
different. That's him coming back.
Right.
But like another A-list guy like Hardy or Gosling, it would have still cost
Quite a bit of money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still
it's
think it'd
true.
be around the same thing. Renner was, I mean, we just talked about the movies.
Yeah, what he was
in.
doing.
Anyway, so we go. It opens August 10th, 2012. It made $113 million domestic, so it didn't break even domestically.
Do you think there's an expectation when you're making this movie, which is that the international market loves these movies, so even if we do okay in the U.S., that this will play well overseas, so we'll make some money?
I would think so, but I would also think that they were expecting to break even here.
Yeah, you can't expect to lose money in the U.S.
Especially with picking Renner. I
Well-
feel like the producers would have been... Go ahead.
No, I'd just say most movies these days, especially big blockbuster or franchise films, I mean, you have to cater towards the international market.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
U.S. is basically maybe half of the market for franchise
Yeah.
or big action film. So you need to cater towards the rest of the world, and part of that is if the story takes place outside of the U.S. I think that people familiarize themselves a little bit more with that and connect with that. So yeah, I mean, I think when you're making a movie like this, you have to think about big picture, big box office across the world.
I think
Absolutely.
it's interesting too. Like you look at the old model and a lot of those old movies from the 80s and 90s and 2000s that we cover on this show, and look at their box office, and you look at the stuff now, and it's just like you said. A lot of the stuff nowadays, if you add the worldwide, the totals are so much higher. Whereas back in the day, movies that opened in
absolutely.
1987, 1993, it's like the worldwide was something, but your U.S. was still like 80%.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, now, I mean, you look at the population in general, and like the U.S. is such a small number compared to everywhere else in the world,
Yeah.
and the accessibility everywhere else to see these movies is grown so drastically.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So it made $276 million total. Not bad.
It's fine.
Not great.
It's fine.
It's still enough to make another one. Yeah, it's fine. But it did open number one at $38 million. So it looked like when it was opening, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this could do something. Like this could.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
It's so weird how forgettable this movie was, though. I just feel
telling
like
you,
it
man.
came and went so fast. Like I remember it in theaters and people talked about it, and then did you see the new Bourne movie? No.
Yeah.
Then it was on the airplane. I didn't watch it on the airplane, and that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it again until we did this show.
Well, okay, so I watched it for the first time when we did Identity.
Yeah.
And I remember when we decided that we were going to do this, I was like, I don't remember it at all. At all. And like the more I talked about it, I was like, okay, I kind of remember this and this. And even when I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, I think I remember what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I still remember 1 and 2 very, very well. 3 I've only seen once, so I got to watch it again.
It surprises me that you don't remember more about this movie because of your sick obsession with American History X and the fact that this reprises
Yeah,
two of
right.
the main
Two
actors
people,
from
like,
the
I just
movie.
I love that movie so
You love
much.
Stacy Keach.
Stacy Keach is the ultimate bad guy. Look,
The
like
scar?
he just looks his scar and his face, just like the way his face sits all the time. Like he looks so evil. I wish he would have been like the main bad guy in this movie.
She's not protecting the U.S. at all.
Yeah, I love the glasses clean.
Clean the glasses
Clean
while
the
you say
glasses when
something
you're saying
sinister.
something evil. Yeah, it's great. And then I think let's talk these numbers. So if we can pull up the graphics here for the
Box office?
Yeah, the box office numbers here. We can do adjusted or unadjusted first, whichever one you want to do.
Yeah, well, I think the graphic is both of them together. So I pulled both just because I feel like they're two of the movies are semi-recent, but then the first movie obviously goes all the way back to 2002,
right.
So the total's a little different. Just so you can see the worldwide numbers and then the adjusted. I mean, after adjustment, this is clearly like the lowest grossing, but it's also, as we said, the first movie came out in 2002. It's a different world now. 14 years later, international plays a much bigger part. So you have to come up with some sort of average between these two, but I think it is still very clear. Matt Damon, away from this franchise, costed a lot of money. I mean, I think that's the basic story here, is like most people were like, okay, if this is a new movie with a different character playing Jason Bourne, I'm not that interested. I'll see it on video.
Right.
Or if this is a new character and this isn't Jason Bourne, but it's still called a Bourne movie, they want me to pay them because it says Bourne. Still not that interested. And I think at that point, it just didn't make as much money as it should have.
I think it's kind of interesting. You look at the two movies at the time that Renner was in, and that's MI4 and this movie.
Yeah.
And it's the same character, essentially, that's going to be taking over the franchise.
Yeah.
And Mission Impossible did it right.
Yeah.
They had a movie with him and Tom Cruise. They're going to have another one after the fifth one. So they're going to have 3 movies of them together.
Tom Cruise is never, ever,
He's
ever.
Definitely going to retire. Whereas I think that's what we talk about with this movie is I think if we would have given them at least one movie with the two of them together, it would have made much more money.
Jeremy Renner's a great addition to the franchise. He did a great job.
He can run just as fast as
well. This is coming on the coattails of Ultimatum. Ultimatum was, I think, a really well-reviewed movie. Like, I mean, that's your favorite. I think it's most people's favorites. So you go from there, and expectations are high. You're kind of at the top of the mountain there, and then you kind of go in a different direction. It's going to throw a lot of people off.
Totally.
I think that's what happened here. Not because people don't like Jeremy Renner or it's a bad film, but if your expectations are one way and they don't think this new movie is going to top the last one as far as writing and reviews and and direction, and then obviously star power.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can see on IMDb 6.7. I mean, that's not terrible. 6.7 is fine. It's
just not good for this type of movie.
It's super average.
Yeah.
Super average.
And if you get even to average, go into the Rotten Tomatoes ratings, which is just astounding.
55, 53, 59. That's all pretty bad.
And that's all critics, top critics, and audience in that order. 55, 53, and 59.
I tend to feel like on Rotten, if a movie is under 60, it's not very good.
Yeah.
I tend to think if it's in the mid 60s, it's just average, and in the 70s, it's usually pretty good.
If the audience gives it a score under 60, I usually don't want to watch that movie.
Yeah, which is
something
surprising.
Like Lincoln,
Yeah, well, because I mean, like we said, I think the biggest problem with this movie is what we're talking about, that it's very derivative, and that's I can see an audience member when they're seeing this movie just being like, this is silly, like it's all cliche. I'm not going to give this a good review. But if you really can get out of that and just say like, it's the same world, it's the same characters, it's happening at the same time, so it should feel the same. A lot of your characters are reprised. Why would we think that just because you have David Strathairn and you have the woman that plays Pamela Landy in their press conferences at the same time, if Ezra, whatever the hell his name is, the guy that Scott Glenn plays, and Stacy Keach, they should feel like they're characters in the same world because it's happening simultaneously. And I don't think that's a problem. We haven't even talked about, we will in just a second, after we talk about these reviews, the whole entire opening 25 minutes out in Alaska. We've like barely even touched on that.
Right.
That's some of the coolest stuff in the whole movie.
Jeremy Renner doesn't even have a line for 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I love that. One of my favorite things about There Will Be Blood is the opening.
Yeah.
And it's just silent.
Right.
Just him working, know? Like
If
doing his thing.
If you guys are curious what Andrew's home movie theater setup and collection looks like, it's a bunch of really depressing, slow movies, and Andrew just sits there stewing in the dark by himself,
Drinking
watching
scotch.
Sound off.
Yeah, no sound.
His fist pump is like a swill of the scotch. It's not even like a movement of the hand.
But going back to the reviews, I think what's unfair about the reviews on this is it starts off behind the 8 ball. I mean, it has such high expectations because Bourne elevated it. People expected this out of the film going into it, and it's kind of like on par with like a Bond film. They expect so much,
Right.
That it's very hard to live up to those expectations.
Yeah.
So like if you go watch a movie like John Wick, I don't know what the reviews are on that, but I bet you they're probably better than this.
They're very high.
I
In
think
the 80s.
part of that is due because people go in, they're like, they had no idea. They just expected like whatever.
The expectation's totally different,
That expectation, I think you lose a lot of points there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
completely.
mean, that's how I felt going into John Wick. I was like, this movie's going to suck, whatever. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
drink my
awesome.
scotch and I'll watch it. And it was super awesome. Very,
he
very
stole
good.
John Wick's car, killed his dog.
Yeah.
Oh. So I think that this review by Peter Howell from the Toronto Star is perfect, and I very rarely
Feel the rotten.
agree with
Yeah.
the rotten reviews. So this one says Gilroy is a fine writer. He also penned Michael Clayton. as Ben knows.
Great film. If anybody's not seen that movie,
Have we talked about that yet?
But without the discipline of an action veteran like Greengrass to rein him in, he indulges his weakness to over-explain things, which is interesting because his over-explanation of things doesn't add any depth to the movie. It just wastes time.
Yeah.
Because this is the longest movie in the franchise as well. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. The rest of them aren't even that close.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't ever like to agree with rotten reviews because I like the movies that we do, and I like this movie.
Yeah.
But if you are going to find a fault, I think that he kind of got it to a T right there.
The Fresh review's nice too. Ann Hornday from Washington Post says Gilroy has brought characteristic taste and skill to a nearly impossible task, embracing the past without completely erasing it, thereby creating an invitingly complicated and open-ended future. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a different feel, but it's a different feel correctly. Like it's everything about the movie feels like it's the same, and then it's like the pacing is much more like a drama than an action movie.
Yeah.
And that's maybe what they were going for, or some people I guess think that that's a mistake. I don't know. It's maybe one of the more I think it's actually one of the more positive elements to the movie.
The pacing?
Yeah, I actually
Really?
do. Yeah, I think it's one of the things that stands out to me that I like the most. I like that it feels more like a drama, more like a spy drama than like just a straight action movie.
Okay. All right. I feel you on that.
So let's talk about the ultimate action scene. I guess. Well, we can show this clip
Just because it's sweet.
because it's super sweet. But
Do you see Jeremy Renner's bicep in this scene?
do you notice it through the jacket?
He clearly put on 20 pounds of muscle.
I read an article about the workouts that.
Wrote an article about movie stars' biceps.
There's an issue of Men's Health that was released in October of 2012.
The back page is blank. I wrote my article in that.
There's also a really good line in this at the end of the sequence too, and he's like, "What kind of operating system? What kind of weapon system does this guy have?" It's like, "Oh, he's probably got a rifle,
Yeah.
a really
like,
high
what?
powered rifle."
Yeah, powerful rifle. Yeah, I don't know if you guys.
This part I think is sweet. Just, it's just that's the one thing about all these movies. There's moments where you're like, God, that's smart. Just like things that they do.
Yeah. If you guys just search Jeremy Renner bicep on Bing, it's the 4th page of results.
Oh no, I'll bing it later. Don't worry.
It's not a big deal.
Go. What do you mean where to go? Solo, we are negative on that signal here. We just lost that second.
Classic,
Just lost the
classic,
signal.
smartest guy in the room.
Yeah. So there's definitely like, unavoidably so, because he's another super agent. There's definitely like the tone of like talking heads being like, "Who is this guy?
Yeah.
she's
What's
got to
happening?
be. She's being helped by someone. Who is he?
Car pulls up. 2 people
Yeah.
leave. Yeah,
This man
it's-
is dangerous." You know.
Yeah.
And that you can't. It's unavoidable because
There's this guy. There's Doctor. What's his name?
Who?
His fake name.
Oh, I can't
Can't remember when
Yeah.
they call it out. He's like, "Everyone clear the room." It's like right after he says the fake name, and you see him. and he
Doctor
breaks-
such and such. Everybody clear the room.
Yeah. He's like, "That's outcome 5." Yeah. Lose it.
Blackbriar, Treadstone, Larks 3.
I love when he's in the
Outcome.
car with Rachel Weisz and he's like giving him their new identities.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're this, and I'm Dan." Something. He's like,
Yeah.
"I'm
James.
Like, it's Peter or James. Whatever. It's like, "Is that your real name?" He's like, "What? No, you don't know my name."
He treated me 13
Yeah.
times.
What do you call me? 5?
5?
You call me 5?
Number 5. Yeah, that's good. It was funny.
Oscar Isaac has like a small role,
He's badass.
but he's good.
He's very good at it.
I really like
And
the first
then he gets
25
blown
minutes.
up.
And then he gets blown.
You know, Andrew, I
to
feel
hell.
like you could play roles that Oscar Isaac.
It's so funny you say that, man. I feel the same way. We're the same person. I was in Drive. Yeah.
Anyway, that's sweet.
I think the ultimate action scene in this movie, though, is the car chase at the end, or the motorcycle chase.
I think so. I mean, I do really like that whole sequence. That's
Yeah.
definitely really cool. The whole like the way it opens and he's like climbing through the mountains and it's just like he puts the backpack on and just starts like running over the peaks.
Right.
That's all really
He like
cool.
jumps across that gap. He comes
Yeah.
out of the icy water.
Visually
it's
very
this
cool.
thing that we talked about. We talk about this with 90 movies a lot. We say when you have that hero prerequisite,
Yeah.
and then as you've gone and it's been 20 years since then,
Yeah.
you get more of them just showing you things,
Yeah.
instead of them just talking about
Right,
it. Like
right.
they do both, but it's better to see all this stuff that he's doing up in the mountains.
Sometimes they get lazy, but
They
yeah.
do, but this was not. This was all shot really well. How was shooting up there during that, man? It looked freezing.
Oh, I didn't work on that.
Oh, you didn't?
It was
No.
really warm in Manila.
Dude, why are you on the show? It's the only question I had ready.
Do you guys want to do favorite line? Should we do favorite line? What do you guys think?
Yeah, do we want to talk about the bike scene at all, or no? Is there anything we missed about it, or is there
we
anything
we
that
can
should
continue.
know?
I thought we were talking about it earlier. I just sort of figured we would continue to weave it in.
All right, well,
I mean,
No,
any
it's
any,
fine.
any particularly cool anecdotes or stories you'd like to share?
No, I mean it was just
No.
it was Bourne. No, I mean it was a really intense scene to shoot because, like you said, we were locking down traffic. We were training anywhere from like 60 to like 90 different local drivers how to do these stunt sequences to make it safe for our actors to be on motorcycles to be weaving through traffic. And if you've ever been to Manila, it's like the traffic there is total chaos.
Right.
And we had to kind of recreate this controlled chaos, but also have safe lanes for the motorcycles to go through. And a lot of stuff you see on film is usually either Renner, is most of the time is Renner doing it himself.
Yeah.
There's a couple of rigs that we use. I won't give it away, but I mean, there's a couple of rigs that we use. But a lot of times it's him weaving through traffic.
Yeah.
Very few times we use stunt doubles. Maybe some of the more crazier sequences. But, I mean, for me, it was really challenging. It was every day trying to talk to 60 to 150 people who did or did not speak English.
Right. So was there a translator there for you, just doing the whole
No,
thing?
I learned about 30 words.
It's like the one guy in the back
Tagalog.
that's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of hand signals and me running around waving my arms. I learned a little bit of Tagalog while I was there.
Could you say anything for us? Say, where is the library?
Say turn left on 4th Street.
I could say maybe thank you, and that's all I kind of have retained.
Good. Very
but it was
impressive.
fun. I mean, and so when I saw it finally cut together, I mean, it looks
great.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to the last two Bourne films.
Yeah,
it's a very frenetic pace, which I thought was really, really fitting way to
that
end
is true.
This film.
Every single one of those movies had an incredible vehicle chase.
Did you guys think it was as funny as I did that during the chase, first the Larks 3, he gets on the motorcycle and puts his sunglasses on? You're like, oh, that's cool. And then Bourne gets on his motorcycle and puts his sunglasses back on. I was like, really, guys?
Yeah.
Really? In a frantic moment where you're running, you're take the time to
You
put your
gotta
sunglasses
keep the
back
bugs
on?
out of your eyes, man.
Well, yeah, if
The
you've
wind
ever
out of
ridden a
your eyes.
bike, you can't go fast with the wind in your face.
So you have to wear
It's a
sunglasses.
very logical thing that they did there.
Gotcha.
So-
I'm a fool. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So, dude, what I loved about that scene, well, first of all, I love that Rachel Weisz was just like, I wasn't acting. I was
Yeah.
fucking scared.
Terrified,
It was
yeah.
terrifying. Jeremy Renner was terrified because he's like, I'm going to kill Rachel Weisz. But
That's how I'm going to go out.
when she kills the dude, the Asian guy,
God, that's awesome.
that wreck
Yeah.
is so violent
Yeah, yeah.
and so intense. And I love that there's no explosion.
Yeah.
It just the bike flips, you see him smack into the ground. He doesn't even move. It's just
Yeah.
immediately dead. And then they slide off. That is, I mean, the movie ends 10 minutes after that.
Right.
It is really a
Well,
great action
That whole
scene.
sequence, Larks is chasing him, and he actually even shoots him, and he crashes into the vegetable market.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that guy's naked. Oh no, he got up, and he's still chasing him.
He's
and
a
then,
I
Larks.
like the T2.
He's a Larks 3 agent.
But then when he gets to that part, and the bike flips, and you're like, nah,
there's
he's
no
not
way.
getting up from that.
So good. So let's get into favorite line here.
Yeah, guys, so if you're following along with us at home, this is your chance to participate and throw in your favorite line. We're going to share our favorite lines right now and tweet at us and let us know if you would like to contribute to the story and all that. We have a Twitter now. We'll announce it again at the end, but if you want to tweet us, tweet it at AMA Podcast and let us know your favorite line of the movie.
Yeah, and I've got the live chat for YouTube right here, so I'll try to read it as much as I can.
Shout out some. Can I go with mine first?
Yeah, please, sure. I hope it's mine.
This is the one that I was talking about earlier when I was saying it made me laugh out loud, because they're in Manila and they're like, tell him about Larks 3, and he's like, Larks 3, I thought that was just a proposal. you're like, oh, here we go again.
Of course. He's like, it was proposed. It was, yeah.
It was proposed and approved. And he's like, Larks 3. He's like, what's Larks 3? And she goes, it's Treadstone without the inconsistency. Outcome without the emotional norms. And you're like, okay, that's all we need to know.
Right.
He's basically just a super soldier that doesn't
He's a
feel
robot.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, it's just another one. He's just the asset, except it's those two sentences are all you need. Literally all
Yeah,
you need.
that was it.
And I started laughing because I was like, of course.
Of course.
Just along with him taking an innocent girl with him and protecting her, and then they fall in love, and there's another shot in a hotel bathroom of him looking at her over the shoulder. There's so many things about this movie where I'm like, I've seen this in a previous movie.
Right.
This is we've done this before.
It's number one.
Yeah.
It's the tension, the sexual tension that builds in number
In the
one. It's the
bathroom.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, in the bathroom. Hags, you got a line?
We actually kind of already covered two of the ones I really liked. Well, the one was about the rifle taking out a drone.
Right.
It's a good
and
one.
the other one we just talked about where she doesn't know his name. She calls him Five.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But then there was another just really kind of quick one-liner when he saves her from the house, at her house.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out, and she's asking hey, are they all dead? He's like, yeah, they're all dead. And I love it because it's just very clinical.
Yes, they're all dead.
Very very matter of fact. Yeah, they're all dead. Let's move on. And kind of throws me back to the firstBourne when Matt Damon's in the car with Famke Potenta, I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
And she's talking and talking, and he's not saying a word. And as soon as she stops talking, he's like, "Dude, what are you doing? Keep talking." Yeah. He's like, "I didn't think you were paying attention." But he's so surgical, very clinical about everything that he does. He just he's okay. I just killed 4 people. Let's move on.
Yeah, right.
Look,
What are we gonna do next?
Look, you want to live? We've got 8 minutes.
Yeah.
8 minutes to get out of here. Yeah, it's great.
We were talking about that when I was watching it. I love that they suggest in these movies that these like super agents like this, like when he's like, we've got 8 minutes to get out of here alive. You know that when he's like looking around for that gas, he's like counting the seconds.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, we now have exactly 6 minutes and 18 seconds left because 1 minute and 42 seconds have passed since the last time we talked. Like that's what's going
And now
on.
I've wasted another 3 seconds explaining this to you. Let's go.
God, I'm so upset.
I have 2. My first one is what I used as because we like to give out hints to our viewers because they get pretty excited to watch the show and they want to watch the movies. It was, you were given a Ferrari, Ezra. Your people treated it like a lawnmower. And you're like, oh, okay, good.
Can you do it? What would it sound like if Albert Finney was delivering the line in the state that he was in this movie?
You get a lawnmower, Ferrari, Ezra. And your people treated it like a lawnmower.
in the flashback clips, he's just incoherent.
Yeah, he's like, we were talking at a quarter at the party. We're like, what? You did what in the quarter at what party? Who's fucking paying this guy?
Yeah, it was pretty funny because he was already getting like pretty old by the third one.
Like in Big Fish, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Albert Finney in Big Fish because he's like dying.
Yeah.
And he's like telling these like crazy stories. And then this is just like him in Big Fish 10 years later.
He's just like a little bit past the point. We met each other years ago.
It goes you go from sounding epic to like an alcoholic. It's very good.
Yeah,
So that was my first one. My second one, I love this exchange. He's sitting there and he's annoying the shit out of Oscar Isaac at the table. And he's, don't you think it's weird? The wolves don't track people. He's like, maybe they don't think you're human. And this is like right after you kind of figure out like everything that's going on with the pills and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just cool because it's like, yeah, the wolves are chasing you because they don't see you as just a person. They see you as like this other alpha creature out in the woods, like living out in the woods among them. So those are my 2 favorite lines.
Sweet.
I know.
We have recasts we're still going to do, and we also have our categories to do here, not our categories, our lists.
Yeah.
Should we hit the lists first? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do the list first. Let's do hero villain first.
Start with hero villain. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the top 50. It's our top 50 lists.
Oh man, here we go. It
the
gets
writing
tougher
too
and
small for you?
Tougher every week. My vision up close is a little better.
All right. I don't think that I'm going to put Aaron or any of the crappy villains on my top 50.
Yeah, the villains aren't gonna make it. Really, you don't think Aaron Cross deserves like a 50?
No, he's a cool hero, and if they make another movie,
No, I think he's top 20.
I mean, you got
heroes,
Looper.
Aaron Cross
Yeah.
ever? What?
Why not?
You guys crazy? That means you're putting him ahead of the T800 on my list, on Andrew's list.
You've offended me.
That means you're putting him ahead of John Creasy for Man on Fire.
Well, I think maybe not that far. But I think he's not too far away from Bourne. I just think if you had a couple more movies, he would definitely be there. So I think because of that, you kind of have to put him in that same category.
All right.
He might move up for me if they make another movie with him and it's just as cool. And then I go back and watch the first one and I'm like, oh man, this is cooler than I remember. But for now, he was cool, but not legit enough to like knock any of these guys off the list.
I'm moving Rock Tansky down to 47, and I'm gonna put Cross in at 48.
Wow.
He's sweet.
He's sweet, but he's no Jack Travis.
Like when he kills those like 4 security guards in that plant, like in
So
the
violent.
basement, it's amazing.
Did you notice what's at the bottom of the list here? The little
I didn't. I'm
There's a
not
little
gonna look
asterisk.
at it. I'm not gonna look at it.
says at the bottom of my list. It says asterisk. Ben thinks Samuel Gerard from The Fugitive is totally fucking sweet.
Yeah, I know, and I like that the audience had so much to say about that because
Right.
we really didn't know what to do.
It's hard to know. We'll have to revisit later. Let's move to the next list because I'm not going to use either of these characters on my list.
Yeah,
Let's
so we're gonna
move-
go into the movie ranking.
Yes, this is the full rankings list. We
This is
just keep.
always very difficult.
Yeah, this is going to be a really hard one to do because it's for me. I'm going to have a hard time like putting it ahead of anything, but I'm also going to have a way hard time saying that it's worse than a lot of these movies.
I can tell you that it's gonna be ahead of Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
It's funny you would say that. It's definitely not that way for me.
I am gonna put it at number 21 and move everything else down. So right in between Mission Impossible 4 and Taken, because I think this is a better movie than.
That's a pretty fair.
You know what? No, 21 and 22. I don't think it's as good as Taken.
You think Taken's better,
I think Taken's better because I want to watch it more and I remember it.
But you're saying it's definitely ahead of Furious 7 for you.
For me, yeah.
I like that Lethal Weapon has just been
I know. We just look like the
completely-
biggest jackasses in the world. Like,
People love that movie.
We have an
Yeah.
action movie talk show, and Lethal Weapon's in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it wasn't that good of a movie. I mean, yeah, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Independence Day. People must think that we're crazy.
Yeah, I tried to have that Independence Day conversation with someone the other day. It did not go well.
Yeah, same thing
They
happened.
just have to
me.
watch it. They have
Yeah.
to watch it again. All right,
Yep.
where are you going to put it?
Let's see. Man on Fire, Predator, Rogue Nation, Air
Rogue
Force One. Yeah, it is. It's probably ahead of Pelham.
This is a good line. He's like, do you have a plan? Because my plan, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait for the next guy to show up and kill you, and then ask them what to do. It's great.
I'm not really good with plans.
Not really good with clues. But I am good. He's kicking ass and ripping throats.
God, is this movie better than Speed? No, my list is so silly. How did I actually justify putting Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 that high?
Because
redo your
That
list.
movie's so bad.
That movie's so fucking good.
It's better than Ghost Protocol.
It's fucking
I
awesome.
don't know about
It was fucking awesome.
It probably goes more in the range you're talking about here. Is it better than John Wick? John Wick is better. Taken. It goes between John Wick and Con Air.
So it's number 21 for you?
Number 21 for me.
All right.
And Taking a Pelham may have to move down slightly.
I can't imagine why.
But maybe we'll address that later. I don't know.
All right, let's move on to recast. And last week we did this, and the reason I wanted to talk about recasting and hashtag Master Recaster is because I was him. That was me. I won. I love winning, guys. It's one of my favorite things to do is winning. And as we all know from my fantasy football season, I hate losing. I don't know if I'm going to make
you're
it
good
next
at
week.
it.
I'm very good at it this
He's
year.
good at losing.
We're from champion to 14th to 11th place, so you know, just got a chance. Still got a chance. Ha!
Yes, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take the main cast, which in this movie we classified as Jeremy Renner, Rachel Weisz, Stacy Keach, and Edward Norton, and we are going to recast them as if this movie were made sometime between 1985 and 2000, like 80s, 90s, essentially.
I'm gonna cast Matt Damon as Jeremy Renner.
It's pretty clever. Pretty clever.
Boom! No, okay. Let's work our way from the bottom up.
So once again, guys, if you're following along and you want to let us know, or you're watching this later, because this just is going to live on the internet forever, and you see this, and you're like, oh, I want to let them know that I think Andrew's awesome, or I want to let you know that Jeremy Renner's
Andrew's
bicep
awesome.
is awesome. What? So you can let us know by hashtagging on Twitter Master Recaster and let us know who won. We will continue to evolve this idea as we
and
go forward.
you can pick Matt. He can. I mean, you won't. You'll probably pick me again. But
Oh, I like my recast this week a lot.
you do have one good one.
I put in some work. I put in some time. So yeah, let's start with it. Let's start with Edward Norton, maybe.
Yeah, let's start with Edward Norton.
Okay.
You go ahead, Ben.
I'm gonna go with mid-90s Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
So like Wolf era,
This is
or
so-
not Wolf, Hero, like Hero era Dustin Hoffman. Like what other like late 90s Dustin Hoffman?
Rain Man?
That's late 80s.
Yeah, late 80s.
I'm thinking more like.
So you essentially want him to play Ezra?
What?
Like Ezra looks just like an older Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, but I was just because Edward Norton's kind of a fuck in this movie. He's just
Totally.
kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And like he's like very like mousy.
Those are very intense words. Fucking hate him. I want him to die.
Those are both like inflammatory, derogatory terms. I should not say that. He's
standing right outside.
He's basically Edward Norton plays in this movie just a very like he plays a shit weasel.
Yeah, no, he is.
That's what he does.
He sucks.
He's a shit weasel.
He is. He absolutely is.
And so I just feel like Dustin Hoffman is very capable of being a shit weasel if he wants to be. He's
Yeah.
very good at being sort of slimy and weak.
Totally.
And I think it's a good age for him too, because he kind of has to be like at minimum late 30s because he has to have like served military time and had some. And also, it's got to be intentional that they make Edward Norton look like so tired and like red-eyed
gray
and
him
yellow.
and- yeah.
His eyes are kind of red. He's got these huge bags under his eyes. It's like not intentional at all.
Yeah, right. He's just like watching this. Are you watching? Is he watching? What do you got, Matt?
The Hulk. I was gonna go with like Malkovich.
Oh, actually, that's sweet.
That's a good
Like
one.
being John Malkovich era.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think almost like a good virus.
Cyrus
the
Virus?
virus from
Right.
Con Air.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Strong.
like you see him yelling and screaming at everybody in the room. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna catch your attention. You're gonna listen to him. He's got just enough of that like dickish attitude to to hate him enough.
Malkovich is a damn fine actor.
It's funny because I actually had who I'm gonna use playing someone else, and then I was just gonna put Spacey in, but I dropped him because I think it's too easy. Guy Pearce,
Oh,
because he is the ultimate arrogant, just asshole
Yeah.
guy. Like he's always very intelligent and very arrogant in his movies.
Yeah.
I almost thought about casting him as Renner because he did such a good job in Memento
yeah.
of playing like that guy trying to figure things out. But I think that the best thing about Renner and especially Matt Damon in the first ones is the innocence that he looks, and I think that Guy Pearce couldn't have done that. I think he's just too hard. So I want to put Guy Pearce in for Edward Norton.
Okay, I like it. He like 90s though.
Yeah,
isn't he pretty young?
Yeah, but he's still 30.
Yeah, you can still get away with it. Yeah, it's fine. Age him a little bit. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Stacy Keach, what do we got?
I went with Senor Brian Dennehy.
I love Brian, like Tommy Boy era Brian Dennehy.
Yeah. Tommy, he's perfect.
Right now, I'm going to need you, Tommy Boy. I love Brian Dennehy.
So good. What do you got? Do the voice.
I'm going to give you the voice. So what was your line?
We gave you a Ferrari, Ezra, and you treated it like a lawnmower.
We gave you a Ferrari and treated it like a lawnmower.
For those of you that don't know, that's John Voight from Anaconda.
Snakes don't eat people. Oh, they don't, do they? Anacondas are the perfect killing machine.
Where are you from? What accent?
I'm from Cuba.
Really?
That's
what do you got?
John Boyd and Stacy Keach.
I was gonna go like James Caan.
Okay, yeah, totally.
Like, yeah. He's good at that.
Oh yeah, like mid-90s, like he was in Bottle Rocket around that time.
Yeah,
and he's good. He's like the right age.
Yeah,
I think so. I like that. Did you already use yours?
I did.
You did.
Dennehy.
Yes. What was that? In the League, at one point, somebody references one of the girls that Ruxa dated in high school. She looked like Brian Dennehy with long, flowing hair. Herdsman. All right, what about Rachel Weisz? What do you guys got?
Thurman, Pulp Fiction era.
Okay.
It's like 95.
Yeah, I like it. She's got a lot of character.
Uma Thurman in. She can play, like, put on some like, she could be the scientist. She could be scared. And
you were
helpful.
literally just thinking of the scene in the airport. That's the only scene that came to mind for you, is the glasses with the hood and the jacket.
I don't know what you're
and she's scared.
talking about. I don't know what you're referring to.
I was gonna go Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
She's kind of like, she's strong enough to play like vulnerable, but by the end of the movie, she'd be really strong.
Like Alien 3 era.
Yeah.
She a little too old?
Not that time. Like Alien 3, she's pretty young still.
Yeah. Okay.
She's probably 30s.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad.
I went with Ashley Judd. Young Ashley Judd.
Double Jeopardy?
Like Heat, Double Jeopardy, yeah. She might be a little too young, but I still think you could make her. Like in Heat, she feels like she plays around 30.
Yeah.
You can't go to trial for the same thing you've already been committed for.
I've never seen Double Jeopardy.
You should watch it. Tommy Lee Jones, not a good movie.
I feel like you should probably watch Michael Clayton first. But
I don't think so. All right, so I'm pretty happy with my my Renner recast. And I went with Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was doing that thing around that time. He's got that young baby face.
Ethan Hawke.
And I feel like the thing with Bourne, again, was that he wasn't physically intimidating. But
do you think he could pull off the action?
I think so.
I can't think of a
Because he's
movie.
been in action movies. He wasn't great in any of them. Like, if I pulled up his thing, he did that stretch in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I think he could have done it early in the 90s.
Because Training Day is like 02, 01, something like that?
Yeah, right around there. Like that kid as Jason Bourne would have been perfect. Well, I mean, I guess this is Aaron Cross.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but I think he could do it.
Hags?
I kind of went like outside the era. I know we were doing 80s, 90s, but I would love to see like Steve McQueen doing this. Like
old
you can go old. That's cool.
Like Classic McQueen would have been sweet. Yeah.
Part of that was because in The Great Escape, he does all his own motorcycle stunts.
Yeah.
And I just thought about that, and then this movie with the whole end sequence, I thought he'd be pretty badass on the bike, very clinical, very quiet, but kind of like a old school Bullet, like would come out to like be Bourne.
I'm so curious, like back in the day, like heroes from those days didn't have, it wasn't like a very specific set of skills where they're trained in like every kind of fighting, and they were like so, like they were just like badasses that punched each other. It's like hard to imagine a guy like Steve McQueen, but like if that was the style of movie, I'm sure.
Right, he would have done the training.
Yeah, he was such like a masculine like hero back in those days.
And he was one of the original guys that did his own stunts. I mean, he did a lot of his own driving work, a lot of his own motorcycle work.
Yeah.
Before they like kind of put an end to a lot of that.
Yeah, I went with mid-90s Val Kilmer. I went with I thought of it when I started thinking about Ashley Judd in Heat, and then
Hang that in the foyer and kill MacGruber.
Because I started thinking about him when he plays Christopher Hurless in Heat, and he's a total badass.
Yeah,
like maybe the most badass character in the whole movie. He barely even talks, but like physically able to pull it off. Like great age for it, young enough. But like Renner doesn't look like he's like 22 here. He kind of looks like he's about 30. And I think that it would have just been perfect. I think Val Kilmer, if he had done this role, would have been awesome.
Val Kilmer the Saint?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Val Kilmer the Saint.
I could see it.
Admit it. You liked my recast this week.
It's good. It's not as good as mine, but it's decent.
Let us know. All right, guys.
Hashtag Master Recaster and just put my name right after it. Save yourself time.
This brings us to our second to last category.
Probably the most useful category on the show. And
Something we do called Cage versus Cruise. Pretty much we don't need to talk about it at all, actually.
not at all
It's
this
just
week.
What would have happened if Aaron Cross had been played by Tom Cruise? What would have happened if Aaron Cross had been played by Nicolas Cage? And which would have been better?
I put Nick Cage as Rachel Weisz. Actually, in
Like
mine.
with his hair, it's like it's like the,
Yeah.
the widow's peak, but it's like down to here.
long, like Cameron Poe era, but
Like
a little longer.
Sorcerer's Apprentice era, Next era, like all the movies that he's ever done era.
The blood they spill will be on our swords. Yeah.
I am the White Ghost. All right, so wait, I'm not gonna do the Cruise voice.
No,
on
let's
this
not
one.
do it. Let's this I'm interested to figure out.
Really?
I want to see where you guys categorize it.
There's 3 categories in action movies, guys. There's Totally Ridiculous, which is characterized by movies like Face Off and Con Air, Falls Off a Cliff of Totally Absurd. There's movies that are totally legitimate, movies like The Fugitive or, in our opinion, Terminator 2. And there are movies that are ridiculously legitimate, which is sort of a hybrid pinnacle category. It's like ridiculous meets amazing, usually has at least one really strong performance, very compelling the whole way through, never really loses you, doesn't make you laugh too much, but if it does, it doesn't distract you.
Right.
And that is like The Rock or Point Break for us, Predator. I want to do the line.
Don't do it. Just do it.
Which of the categories does this movie fit into? For me, it's
Legit.
totally legit.
Totally legit.
I don't think there's any question.
Andrew, no.
Really?
I do.
You think it's ridiculously legit?
just don't like this
This movie's not legitimate at all. No, I think it's ridiculously legitimate, but I can't put my finger on why. I think it's just kind of a combination of everything with the genetics and like.
Because it's so cliche. Because it's
I think
so
I think it's because everything that is done outside of Rachel Weisz and Jeremy Renner for
Yeah.
me is not believable.
Right.
Like the whole Norton, Keach, Ezra, Landy,
Yeah.
all that. It just falls flat for me to the point of where I'm just like, this is just like this is just a scapegoat. This is just something they need to make this movie work.
just like a bad guy who's like cleaning his glasses while saying something
Yeah,
nefarious.
yeah.
Who's like, as far as I'm concerned, she threatened national security. Or he's like straightening his cufflink, and he's like, she's a national traitor.
Yeah.
I'm evil. Like,
Yeah, like not she went from national treasure to national traitor. That's what I would want to hear.
She went from national treasure.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's nothing about the action or Renner or Weisz or anything that doesn't feel believable to me. It's just the agency. And
So
it
that
kills it for me.
Goes to the middle category for you.
For me, I guess, yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Guys, we mentioned it once. We'll mention it again. Action Movie Anatomy now has a Twitter. It is at AMA Podcast. It will help us continue to grow the show and get it out there to the world and see the world and everything. What?
Are you singing that song from Aladdin right now? I can show you our Twitter.
So please go and subscribe to us on Twitter. It is awesome if you do that.
Well, we didn't get to our 100 followers in a week. We got close.
We got to 70. We got 70 this week.
So we can't let you guys pick a movie, which sucks. But maybe we'll do a vote
Yes.
soon.
We'll come up with some other way to try to get more followers and in tune, let you guys choose a movie. We just don't have it right now.
Yeah, because we want to be able to let you guys choose a movie, and then we'll randomly pick one of you, like we talked about before, to
Yes.
do the recast, your favorite line, basically be on the show with us without being here.
Yeah, you'll call in, something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Guys, where can the good people of Twitter and Instagram find you?
I'm not on Twitter.
You can find Matt destroying me in fantasy football along with Ben, and you can also find me at Andrew Ghai on Twitter.
Twitter and Instagram, Ben Bateman Media. Thank you guys for checking out the show. We will see you next week. Do we know the movie we're doing?
Nope. It's a surprise!
Extreme Waves are back again. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners and principals.